most important player are the centre halves, and with Van der Ven and Romero, it's so reliant on them because they have to deal with every eventuality, and I'm a huge fan of Romero. He can be rash at times, but Van der Ven actually, he's been one of the signings of the season. Great pace, he can handle the ball. I think the timing of his tackles are normally pretty on point, and he's a really good all-rounder, decent in the air. So he's going to be a massive loss. He has missed a fair few games, and Tottenham have been able to cope okay. But of course, I mean, they've had a lot of injuries to deal with. I think Ange Postecoglou said last week that because they're always harping on about there are too many games, but certainly
what did he mean by that?
It's going to be a big loss. I think about getting the players into a rhythm, games coming thick and fast. Give him a season, and when they're in the thick of the Europa League run or Champions League run, he may think differently. But no, I think it's about finding a rhythm, and that's the way I think he's pretty much always been. And his squad has been stretched this season already. They've missed key players. They've missed Son at times, Maddison at times, Van der Ven. But they're in a brilliant position.
You can interpret Sass in many different ways, Stefan. The sample size of Tottenham without Van der Ven is smaller than when they're with him. They've had 18 games with him, 9 games without him when we're looking at the Premier League. Their win percentage, though, nearly 67% when they have him, 44% when they don't have him.
I think, to echo kind of what Chris said, I think he has been one of the signings of the season. I think when we speak about Van Dijk before, I think I would put him up there with, in terms of centre-half, I think him, probably Saliba from Arsenal, and Van Dijk have been unbelievable this season, but I think his all-round game has been one of the best. I think he's so quick. I think he's one of the quickest players in the Premier League, and to have that as a centre-half, and the way that Postecoglou has Tottenham playing, where they're not afraid to go 2v2 at the back with him and Romero, which was seen yesterday.
You have to have someone lightning quick if you're going to go 2v2, don't you?
Yeah, not only quick, but able to be intelligent enough to know what the striker maybe wants to do in terms of reading the play. You have to be kind of one step ahead of everybody else, and especially playing against the likes of Watkins yesterday, who's been doing that all season. He's been making runs in behind, he's been coming in the pocket, he's been making it hard for defenders. He was able to cope with them, and unfortunate that he's injured, and for Tottenham they'll be hoping it's not too long of an injury.
I think the difference this time, I suppose, and I can only echo what Chris and Steph said about Van der Ven, I think he won't be discussed as one of the signings of the season, partly because he was injured for a bit of it, and partly because he's a defender, and we continually overlooked defenders' contributions to kind of those in that.
But we are discussing. Are we not?
So we are, but we're better than your general distros, aren't we, chappers? That's the point. No, I think people will look naturally towards more goal scorers, people who contribute more. I don't know, than whose goals and assists, which apparently is now the metric that everyone uses to explain how good footballers are. Van der Ven has been superb.
Well, you hang on a minute. You wrote a book on it, expected goals.
Yeah, I did. In which the point is made that quantifying defensive actions is really hard, but is something that is vital.
What page is that on? That's in the small section of it.
I can't remember the exact. Do you remember what's on every single page of You're Better Than That, Chris? Do you know all the pages?
Is it on a list?
It is on a list. It's on a list of to-do lists. No, I think Van der Ven's been really, really important to Spurs. It's like the one difference now to last time is they do have natural coverage. They brought in Radu Dragic from Genoa, who should be able to slot straight into that position.
Well, we'll find out, won't we?
The fixture list in the immediate future is not particularly unkind. They've got Fulham away at the weekend, I think, and then Luton at home, West Ham away. I'm now going to just admit that I'm Googling it. West Ham away and Forest at home. Those are games that if Spurs want to be in the Champions League, which having smashed Villa having smashed Villa yesterday probably should be, that should be their target. You kind of have to win those games even if you're missing a really important player. So it might not be too damaging because of the timing of it, but he has been a central figure for them this season.
But also, I mean, Rory talks about quantifying defensive numbers and defensive metrics. I mean, there are enough ways to to look at a player's defensive ability through numbers, aren't there? I mean, a very, very, very simple one, Steph, is he's got the fastest top speed in the Premier League this season, which I would argue is quite a good.
It's a good attribute to have, isn't it? Yeah, and I think, like, from a defensive point of view, I think you look at the win percentage that you said before. I think when you know that your win percentage is higher with a certain defender in there, I think that gives the team a lot of confidence, and there's no shying away from the fact that I think Chris mentioned earlier, if, say for example, in a goalkeeper situation, if he's his number one, he'll play his number one, and I think that's evident with Spurs, is that Van de Ven is going to be his number one centre-back for a long, long time, and he's definitely one for the future. But if his level's at the level that it is now, then it's going to be quite scary how he's going to be over the next few years.
What would you look at? I mean, is it obviously you mentioned the overall win percentage of the team, but
probably duels,
duels
yeah. 1v1 situations, right. Whether that's when balls are going over the top, are you able to win your headers, are you able to prevent shots on goal by your 1v1 defenders, not necessarily tackling, it's trying to prevent shots on goal and ultimately clean sheets.
Yeah.
And I think, but ultimately defenders are probably not just known for the defending now, it's how they are with the ball, and I think we speak about goals and assists going forward, but the ball has to get there in some way, shape or form, and the top teams like to play out from the back using the keeper and the centre halves, and they're pivotal to that, and he's able to do that with both feet.
I mean, it sounds to me, Rory, like there's quite a lot of different numbers out there. If you could have been,
Sorry, Rory, I didn't mean that.
Looking.
There are a lot of different numbers. A lot of the metrics are more complicated. Partly because what defenders do is stop things from happening, and it's really hard to measure things that don't happen. So yeah, the duels are crucial. No, I'm not saying that those aren't valid metrics, but
they're called intersections.
You can't quantify a shot that doesn't happen because a defender reads the ball and is in exactly the right place. It's possible to do. It's really hard to do it. And look, all I was saying was that we don't always talk about defenders as easily as we talk about attackers for things like individual awards. And for that, I will give you the evidence of the last defender to win the Ballon d'Or was Fabio Cannavaro. So there's no question, it's not a debate that defenders don't get the recognition that they deserve. And to be honest, Steph should probably agree with me on that.
Well, yeah, I am. That's why I'm saying we can measure these performances by different outcomes.
But I think when people talk about signings of the season, they will look a little bit more, a little bit further forward. Partly that is just Van de Ven did miss a decent chunk of the season.
Nevertheless, into the far right corner.
He's already in it.
The best goals in Premier League history.
9 games without, it's quite a lot.
That's for sure. As we look to get a throw on.
Hit the ground running. He is a superb defender.
For Chelsea with Cucurella. Again, many players seem to be picking up the niggles for causing for that stoppage in play. Cucurella's throw. On well by Gallagher. Raheem Sterling then gives the ball away. Raheem Sterling, chat, do let us know. Where do you still rank him in that England pecking order? Is he still a top player in your eyes? Many questions about him since the move to Chelsea and in them last couple seasons for Man City where he wasn't starting regularly every game, despite him being one of the most involved players on the Pep system. They were willing to let him go. Newcastle go long here. Nicholas Jackson on the right hand side. Roulettes it past Anthony Gordon. Now Malagusto seems to be switching either foot, happy to be his man. It's lovely when you see a two-footed player, especially in a fullback, so rare nowadays. Moises Caicedo, Conor Gallagher, Caicedo to Diassi. Diassi, who did get a goal against Brentford. But questions still remain about his ability to be a top defender. And the switch to Cucurella. Can't find his man, so he'll have to go into Trevor Chalobah, Nathaniel's younger brother. And he gets bailed out there with a shove from Isak. Chelsea will have a free kick 15 yards above the penalty area. Real frustration from the Blues. Enzo Fernandez unhappy with why the ball was then kicked away, looking to try and get a yellow card for the Geordie side. Chat, where do you think Chelsea finished this season? Again, comment where you think they'll lie up. Will they break into the top 10? Will they crack a European place? Be absolutely monumental. Already needing at least 8 points to catch up. A loss today could fall to about 11. And a flick on from Newcastle from the goal kick from Dubravka. Gordon against 2 defenders. Cuts onto the inside. Let go by Isak. Isak to Livramento. Livramento opts for a 1-2. But the return pass just wasn't there for him, forcing him to dive in, and Cucurella is just there to get it away. Tony Livramento was let go by Chelsea. Southampton just 6 million. That time seemed to be a bargain. And Southampton, despite being relegated, were able to sell him for what was a massive profit. That seems to be an issue with the Chelsea staff since the Bowley era, letting young players go from the academy, all in the name of pure profit. And chat, do you agree with something like that? Do you agree they should? Is that the model to follow? Or should they keep them and grow them into the team? Not many Chelsea academy players remain. Reece James is one of the few that was there just from the Champions League winning side that contained many graduates. Tammy Abraham, Mason Mount, obviously him himself, Billy Gilmore. Newcastle just playing out from the back, making sure Chelsea don't engage. Trying to press high up, and Chelsea going to happily let Newcastle not get forward, not play the ball into Bruno Guimaraes, just denying him on the halfway line, forcing the Magpies to go out wide. And they opt to on our far side here with Gordon, and lovely nutmeg, but given away by Joe Willock, who's really not been able to get control so far. There's another short ball into Livramento, who just can't get there. And Cucurella, questions about his defending. Is he really a left back? Do you think he's a left back? But today he's been all over it. Jackson strikes from about 35 yards, hit it low to the keeper's right. Keeper Martin Dubravka was just able to get there. Dan Burn can't seem to get the counter-attack going in Newcastle again, just relying on that build-up play. Last season we were known for more frightening attacks. They do boast tremendous pace with Isak, Gordon, Almiron. But do lack attacking options today on the bench. Not too many players. The throw-on looks to be going in for Newcastle on the right-hand side. And they go all the way back to Fabian Schär. Into Botman to Dan Burn. Now out wide with Gordon. Gordon plays the ball up the line for Willock. And then tackled by Diassi. Diassi really growing into the game now. Casado. And the Chelsea fans just trying to get him going. Trying to get the team up, get them going the attack. All standing on our far side here. Cole Palmer twists in and out. Finds Enzo Fernandez in the middle. Enzo's curler doesn't even go near the post. Way out, very poor from the Argentine standards. Real question's been the lack of goals he's offered the Blues so far this season. He's got a few from the penalty spot, but not many in open play. Something they'd really be asking for. Bear in mind him and Casado's appearances. 23 minutes in, Nicholas Jackson's goal did put the Blues ahead after 6 minutes. But if you are Newcastle, there aren't too many attacking options on the bench. Murphy, I mentioned earlier. But only other players, Matt Ritchie, used to playing that forward 3 or midfield 3 back under Eddie Howe's Bournemouth. Now tends to play more as the fullback or a wing back. Livramento tackled again by Cucurella, who seemed really to come alive today, motivated, knowing that he can lock down a place with no Chilwell, who's out with injury. if looking on the Chelsea injury list, could almost put out a full 11. You got players again, like we mentioned, Levi Collywell, the captain Chilwell, but Benoit Bashile, Reece James, Christopher Nkunku, and the player they signed from Southampton, Lavia, who's barely been able to play at all this season. Absolutely hampered with injuries. Now, Conor Gallagher on the right hand side. His pass to Cole Palmer, easily read, and then Cole Palmer brings down Bruno Guimaraes. But ref says he uses excessive force there just by pulling at the defender. There's going to be a free kick for Newcastle just to the left of the penalty spot, the penalty box. If you are looking at the Chelsea bench, so very young, but with such an experience. Despite all those injuries for Chelsea, they've barely featured this season. Players like David Washington, Alfie Gilchrist, who is playing a little bit more. The Italian midfielder, Cassetti, they recalled back from Leicester. Carney, Chukwuemeka. Even players like Mikel Mudryk has barely been able to get involved in the Premier League in terms of his just pure starts. Noni Madueke. Chelsea get going on the left hand side with Jackson. Jackson puts a shoulder into his defender, and it's claimed to be a foul. Tony Livramento went down easily. And on the replay, it does seem to be a clear push of the back from the Senegalese forward. That's what Chelsea have not got to do. They've got to stop giving away the easy fouls, allowing Newcastle to again just control the ball. Now Gordon on the left hand side beats two players with absolute ease, but Malo Gusto recovers well. Cole Palmer looking to find someone in the middle. Couldn't find any of his teammates, who goes backwards. Now with Enzo Fernandez. Fernandez to Sterling. Sterling just in front of the D on the halfway line. He returns it to Malo Gusto. Gusto looks to make a burst down the channel, but his low cross is cleared, but only as far as Caicedo. Caicedo strikes, and it was clearly not made a great contact. The Ecuadorian's left foot doesn't hit it well. It hits it much more sweeter. And Newcastle have a goal kick. Newcastle go long with that goal kick up to Dan Burn on the halfway line, who flicks his header on. Only as far as Gallagher. Gallagher, such great pressing from the Englishman. One of those Chelsea Academy graduates still at the club. He shows immense passion with pressing not just one but three Newcastle players in the midfield there.
Crea I tuoi piani di accumulo su XTB con zero commissioni.
16 season, Bournemouth really upset the Blues, who were looking to bounce back from what were heavy defeats back then. As a real shocking season, Chelsea would finish nowhere near the top four after winning the title that year with such ease, never dropping from first place after the turn of the year. Now to Bradford's long punt, couldn't find Nicholas Jackson. Newcastle begin to again build out from the play, but can they do more? Fabien Scar can't seem to find anyone coming short in the midfield, so he finds Isak. Isak short pass to Guimaraes. Guimaraes just easily evades the Senegalese forward. Now with the Brazilian again. He's just waiting for the return. But the Dutch defender opts not to use it. Botman. Switches the ball up to Gordon, who's gone onto the right hand side now. To get a go at Cucurella. Been defended brilliantly by Malo Gusto. Now such silky feet from the young Englishman, Tino Livramento, who scored what was a great goal. I mean, you can talk about it being fluff, the finish. The way he beat 3 defenders in the penalty spot. Such composure as well with the finish. Chat, do you think that was more of a fluke, or do you think that was a brilliant goal? Do comment below. Newcastle now. Win the ball back brilliantly from the goal kick. Almiron going at Malagusto. Malagusto slide challenge, easily wins it back. And Almiron, who's not really had any luck going at either defender so far. They've put Gordon, probably the best attacking talent in terms of them 1v1s. Alexander Isak is also a phenomenal dribbler. Chelsea will have a goal kick there. So we keep talking about the former Evertonian. He did come so close to a move to Chelsea. So Chelsea put in a couple bids, but they were rejected. Back when the Toffees were managed by Frank Lampard and the Blues by Thomas Tuchel, who is going to leave Bayern Munich in the summer. Petrovic punt. Jackson doesn't win the header. So Chelsea return with a clearance of their own. Fernandes. Fernandes can't find Gallagher, but it's out wide on the left hand side. Sterling into the Spaniard. Now Chalobah. Chalobah's short pass, bit too short, putting the Blues under some pressure. They managed to get away with it now with Diassi. Diassi into Palmer. Palmer into the press of Willock. Plays a small pass in the middle. Now Cucurella. Cucurella looks to go wide. Nicholas Jackson is there to offer support. And Cucurella again couldn't find the Senegalese forward, but very quick in the press. Anthony Gordon does well. Is strong to hold up. His forward pass looks to find Isak, but Petrovic gets it away. But Newcastle beginning to grow into the game. Now with Gordon. Gordon out wide to Isak. Isak asking Tino Livramento, will he rake the run forward on the right hand side? He doesn't. A great sliding challenge in from Conor Gallagher, who is just absolutely everywhere for the Blues. Makes a brilliant slide challenge on our near right side, just towards the corner flag. Throw on to Newcastle. Alexander Isak really hasn't had any joy so far, barely been able to get involved. Swiss forward, who has shown remarkable talent. Senior move from Borussia Dortmund to Real Sociedad, then to the Magpies for a big fee. And Livramento gives it away. It's 2v1 for Chelsea, but a foul from the referee given on Enzo Fernandez. And Enzo contesting that, but perhaps he should drop a couple of yards back and potentially not get himself booked for dissent for arguing with the ref. And it wasn't a great challenge from the Argentine. Used that right boot and put the studs up, and it just went into the Brazilian midfielder. Newcastle 10 yards right of the D, with plenty of time to whip the ball in. Chelsea defending very deep in their own half. The ball was switched all the way out wide, just in the box. Gallagher's header goes back, and a blasted strike blocked by Cucurella. That's going to be a corner for Newcastle. Anthony Gordon took it down well, but his volley just couldn't avoid Marc Cucurella, who fist bumps the air, really showing some passion. Questions on Marc Cucurella's position, chat. Now, if I haven't mentioned already, what do you think is his best position? Obviously, Getafe played as a left midfielder, Brighton as a left wing back, and we've seen at Chelsea left centre half or left back. And that point's right back. Gordon takes the corner shortly. And Newcastle again going back. Really frustrating for Eddie Howe. They've just wasted another set piece. Livramento tries to take on a man or two, but he just can't get around. A poor touch from Willock. Or if he left it, perhaps Isak could have gone through. Newcastle, just really no flow from the side up north. Again, looking to switch the play, but it's not to be. Chelsea have done well defensively today. perhaps it is just a curse. Chelsea not known for doing well at all at St James's Park. For Jose Mourinho, very rare wins for him. Back there, known as probably Chelsea's greatest manager of the new millennium. Now Dan Burn. Dan Burn to Fabian Schär. Schär to Botman. A switch of play all the way to Gordon. But Cucurella is there first. Gordon does well to give it back, but is fouled by the Spaniard. And this looks to be even more of an exciting foul. Anthony Gordon, who already was getting a bit of the beating of Malagusto, but Chelsea were quick to double up on the right. Perhaps that is why he's gone on to the Blues' left-hand side. Really going to enjoy that 1v1 match against Marc Cucurella. Not known for the best of defending, but has done well today. Very quick out from the box. Anthony Gordon just receiving treatment to our right. And he's holding onto that knee, we mentioned it earlier. Really not doing well for him this season. He's so unfortunate to get injury this late on. And as I just go through the chat now, George, you think Pochettino will potentially take his time if Chelsea are going to go on to win and do much more in the season? Perhaps that is the idea of Mauricio Pochettino, getting a manager known for a project and match up their Wenger in. Do you think Arsene Wenger would allow himself to go back to London and not manage Arsenal? Cause absolutely some shock, I'm sure, for the Gunners. Perhaps something unforgivable. And Anthony Gordon, he is going to be subbed off, and Jacob Murphy is going to come on here. And it looks like immediately he will take the free kick to our right. Murphy, the former Norwich Academy graduate. Him and Almiron will debate this in-swinging cross. Whipped in by Murphy. And it was a delightful ball, but just couldn't find any Newcastle heads. Murphy appealing that some Chelsea defender got a touch there. It seems Diassi couldn't even reach it. It's a delightful ball in, hit nice low, just on top of there, just waiting for someone to hit it. For Newcastle fans, obviously, real frustration. They don't get talked about in the media despite playing in the Champions League this season. Is that something you guys think is fair? Due to not having perhaps that big six club reputation. Cucurella now intercepted by Longstaff. And Longstaff barely been able to get involved in the game at all. Pressed well, but not really showing here and there. That's something they'll need to bring more into this game. They're going to look to open up that Chelsea midfield and attack what is known to be a vulnerable defence. Ball again out wide. And now return to Botman. Newcastle really taking their time as Isak has to go short for the ball, and he is straight under pressure from Enzo Fernandez. And a lovely switch of the play from Botman. Finds Murphy. Murphy looking to not use the overlapping run of Livramento. Plays in a brilliant ball, but it just couldn't reach Almiron. And another ball ripped in, and Isak couldn't hit it cleanly. And Joe Willock is appealing, thinking that the Chelsea defender got the touch and not him. Just on the edge of the box. It was a lovely, delightful ball from Almiron. Hit low, hit hard on the left-hand side, easily getting around Gusto. Perfect bit of whip. But Willock just trying to put his foot at it. He was under some pressure from Cucurella. Chelsea now. Long punt from Petrovic, 38 minutes in. Raheem Sterling couldn't bring it down. And chat, do let me know your thoughts. Do you think Raheem Sterling deserves to constantly be playing? Been really questioned about his performances this season. A lot of talk about Mudryk not really bringing the numbers. But as of the moment, just limited to bench appearances recently. Newcastle, under pressure. Casado wins it back, but a tackle from behind from Willock does well. Now for Scar. Scar out to Livramento. Livramento sees the... And a foul from Raheem Sterling. Just a frustration pull down, just to stop the counter-attack. That earns him a yellow card. Former Liverpool Academy grad. It's reckless, just puts the foot out on the trailing leg of Livramento. Just to make sure the counter-attack was cut off. That earns him his 6th booking of the season. 4 more and he will be suspended. I'm sure that'll be a worry later in the season for Maurizio Pochettino. They hope to obviously see Chelsea potentially make the FA Cup final. Jacob Murphy now on the right, looking for another in-swinging cross. Almiron steps over it. Brilliant ball whipped in, headed on by Isak. Just over the bar. Swiss forward beginning to grow, not really been able to have much influence on the game, but once he saw a sniff of the ball going near his path, he looked straight for goal. Got plenty of power on the header, just couldn't keep it down. Petrovic, not had to mention his name too much so far in this game. Don't believe that Newcastle have even offered real good chances so far. Cucurella presses up really high. He's been so active in this game. Very different from the Spaniard. Now the restart from the throne. Raheem Sterling just dominated by Bruno Guimaraes, but Enzo Fernandez is there. Fernandez looks for the back heel and it just goes way out of play. So poor from the Argentine. And he is beginning to get the moan from Conor Gallagher, who's holding his hands up. Why did you not go into me? Englishman says. Dan Burn. He goes to Sven Botman. Botman plays it across dangerously to Dubravka. You will all be taught at the basic fundamental level of football. You don't make straight line passes across your goal. It's very easy for an attacker to pick it up and very hard for a player to receive. Newcastle played the risk there and they got away with it. Bruno Guimaraes. And that lovely switch, I keep mentioning it on the right hand side to Livramento. Livramento going at Conor Gallagher, beats him with ease. But a poor touch from Willock. And now Enzo Fernandez, intercepted by Longstaff. What a game we've got so far. Longstaff. Can he go back out wide? He does. And it's lovely from Murphy. Lovely feet, but Gallagher just there to him as well. Cucurella. Gallagher, Chelsea playing almost like it's five-a-side, playing in them tight spaces, moving the ball around. Playing really brave. And a poor switch of the play, but it gets away from Chelsea. Back into their path with, again, I keep mentioning his name, Malo Gusto. Really positive so far. As he pushes up high, it's Isak! And just like that, he gets his first real chance of the game, and he pots it into the bottom right corner. Alexander Isak, one of the best players in the Premier League, one of the best forwards the Premier League has on offer. And he just picks the ball up. Chelsea give it away. Malo Gusto presses up high. He's not back in time, so Gusto can't defend. Chelsea's right hand side of the box, and it's lovely from the Swiss international. And what he does brilliantly, he takes the ball on the outside of the foot, cuts in against Diassi, and Diassi is just absolutely frozen, and Petrovic doesn't know which corner Isak's going to go to. And Isak goes to the far right corner, and he goes straight off to the away fans. It's a lovely goal from the Swiss international. It's supposed to be the heir apparent to Zlatan Ibrahimovic, and goals like that will put him right near that name, I'm sure, when his career is all said and done. If he can continue that positive start he's already made. He's still so very young. Something important to remember about Isak. Zlatan Ibrahimovic didn't really have a great start to life in Europe. Really improved as he got later on in his career, around 26, 27 years of age, when he got that move to Inter Milan. Funnily enough, with the name of a manager I've already mentioned, Jose Mourinho, begins to get the best out of the Swiss. Legendary forward. And Alexander Isak, this is his 16th goal of the season. Rather impressive from the Swiss. The Swedish, I should say. Forward. Newcastle. Throw on that isn't looked to be received and then crossed in. Diassi will get it away. Newcastle will get another throw on our far side. Just approaching the penalty area. And Chelsea, who aren't too far behind when it comes to that top scorer debate. Nicholas Jackson with 14 goals this season. So you getting that hat-trick against Spurs. Not a bad tally for your first Premier League season. People will be asking for a much more ruthless finish from him. But perhaps that comes with time. Not every striker has worked out straight away in their first season. Famous Didier Drogba. And it's Jackson. He's through in a 1v2. Drops his defender. Brings it down and he makes it 2-1. Looks to go to the line-o. And a flag has been raised. He's opted not to celebrate. But VAR will be checking. It just comes out of nowhere from Chelsea. It's just a long punt, making sure it's away. And it's a lovely bounce that falls perfectly to Conor Gallagher. And with Cole Palmer's through ball into the Senegalese forward, who doesn't go for Sterling, finishes it brilliantly. But he is deemed to be offside. And Newcastle will get going from the free kick. 45 minutes in. Goals from Nicholas Jackson in the 6th minute, and then later on with Alexander Isak. And a poor giveaway from Newcastle. Conor Gallagher charges into the penalty area, defended well by Willock. Willock now driving past Gallagher. Two players with an absolute engine to them. It's 4 minutes of added time has been given. Smacked up and high from Newcastle. Out wide to Dan Burn. Dan Burn. His poor cross. Easily intercepted by none other than Malo Gusto. Newcastle now. Just looking to build up. Play a couple short intricate passes. And then find that forward ball. Dan Burn there frustrated. Aiming for a free kick in the push to back, but when you are that kind of stature of a man, playing without height, playing without physicality, refs do begin to officiate you differently. Do allow for a bit more contact than a more diminutive player would have. Cucurella, Gallagher, Enzo, Cucurella, now Trevor Chalobah just in front of his penalty spot. Petrovic now, just in front of his 6-yard box. He has to clear it all the way to Palmer. Palmer doesn't even go for a header. Feeling absolutely unmatched against Dan Burn aerially. Tino Livramento. Tackled by Gallagher. Gallagher's done brilliantly doing the defensive work for Sterling on that left-hand side. Chelsea, when they are playing, they are looking to defend in a 4-4-2 and have Sterling Jackson or Palmer. And Jackson just hold up front. And a lovely ball from Fabian Scar. Brought down brilliantly by Isak. But defended fantastically by the Chelsea defence. Blues has done very good there. They're just recovering using that pace. He was onside. Malagusto kept, as it appears to be Willock onside. But Diassi does well in recovery. Cucurella. Just 2 minutes remaining of half time. Gallagher. He couldn't even get it under control there. Gallagher arguing with Murphy. Throw from Chelsea. Maurizio Pochettino not happy with the way his side have given up the game. And a lovely switch from Gallagher. And a flick on from Palmer. Such intricate play from them to on the right hand side. A real chemistry has been growing. Gusto charges into the box. And his cross can't find either Chelsea forward. And Cole Palmer does very well there. In just holding onto the ball. Near the corner flag. Gusto does a lovely little fake. In and out. And now on to Gallagher on the back post. He flicks it back across. Raheem Sterling just on the edge of the box. Straight at the keeper. Just on the edge of the box. Drives it into the middle. And just blasts it up. Making it easy for Dubravka. Going either side of the keeper would have offered much more of a challenge. And that is it. The ref blows for half time. Chelsea unable to keep a hold of that lead when they were put ahead in the 6th minute by Nicholas Jackson. For Newcastle, they did respond. Alexander Isak with an absolute sensational goal. Keeps his side ahead. It's 1-1 at half time. Chelsea versus Newcastle. just as we reconvene here with Newcastle from the kickoff, I got asked in the chat, what do I think the score prediction will be from Matt Sharp? He's gone for 3-1. I think probably a Desmond 2-2. As we see a quick poor touch from Bruno Guimaraes, the long punt from Tino Livramento. Yeah, Chelsea have looked really vulnerable to a counter-attack, and so have Newcastle. Newcastle just one shot on target and they've scored, and Isak, and I believe Gordon as well, both have that killer instinct in front of goal. A quick question I'm going to ask you, chat, is who do you think between Chelsea and Newcastle have the all-time winning record between them in head-to-head competition? Do let us know in the chat, and do also let us know what your favourite team is and where you're hoping they will finish towards the end of the season. Now Dan Burn. He looks up onto complete pressure from Cole Palmer. That's poor from Dan Burn, and Trevor Chalobah just calm, easy back to his goalkeeper. He gets it returned to him. Casado, Newcastle bringing 3 players to press in Chelsea's box, forcing a clearance from Petrovic. Enzo Gallagher brings it down well. Malagusto on the right hand side. He finds Cole Palmer. Cole Palmer, easily with his slaloming feet, just so adept to avoiding danger. Conor Gallagher. He just can't seem to be getting involved in this game, being forced to defend that left hand side. Englishman with Southgate there, trying to hold down his place. Isak now in towards Miguel Almiron. He strikes just right down the keeper's path, and Petrovic is able to tip it over his bar. It's going to be a corner for Newcastle on the near post. One on near side, but it does appear the one arm is up, hinting towards near post cross. Going to be Jacob Murphy, the substitute. How can he impact the game today? Dan Burn, Sven Botman, all coming up, plenty of size from the Magpies. But it's short. Brilliantly whipped in though, all the way to the back post, bouncing in that so-called area of danger so many people love to call it. But Bruno Guimaraes goes one-on-one against Cole Palmer, opts to go to the right of the English winger, and his ball just bounces on towards the far post, just praying for someone to hit it. But Chelsea will have some reprieve with the goal kick. And the poor goal kick from Petrovic means Gallagher just couldn't get onto it, and he had moved on to the left-hand side here, playing more what Chelsea I believe to be a 4-4-2, with Raheem Sterling and Nicholas Jackson through the middle, and Gallagher now on the left. Sterling now picks up the ball into Jackson. Jackson opts not to return it to the former England international. As I mentioned, Gareth Southgate was there. The Newcastle fans have made plenty of jokes to Raheem Sterling about why he has not been picked so far. It's a free kick for Chelsea just in front of the halfway line. Can they do what they've struggled all season to do? That's when they give up a lead, fight back and retake it, and then go on to win the game. Chelsea, they've really struggled against the low block, but Newcastle haven't really done that today. Looking to match Chelsea at intensity with Gallagher from the free kick here. And he goes out wide to Malagusto. Gusto in towards Diassi. Diassi playing almost as a right winger there, under pressure from both Almiron and Dan Burn. But the studs have gone into Miguel Almiron and he is pulled down. But he tells the team that he's okay, but he's still limping. Diassi into Gusto. Gusto doesn't receive and instead finds Cole Palmer. It's out for a Newcastle throw. Just poor communication from the Blues, as Gallagher would end up flicking it straight out for a throw on. Newcastle switching out wide to Livramento, and they've kept doing that. It's been a real theme of their game. The way they look to break Chelsea down is out through the channels. Gusto can't seem to be able to lock down a place in France, but perhaps with a few more performances like we've seen recently this season, he might be able to nick a place towards the end. That's a poor pass from Livramento, hoping some movement from either Jackson or Willock, just to run in behind and see that short ball. But it doesn't work out as Petrovic goes short, in towards Diassi. Diassi's long punt finds Nicholas Jackson, but their aerial route has not been working for Chelsea. They don't have particularly much height in their 11. But they win it back here with Caicedo. Caicedo out wide to Palmer. Palmer going one-on-one against Dan Burn, but he cuts on the inside. Now goes to the outside. Ball's looked in low post, and someone should have got onto that. Such incredibly frustrating for Maurizio Pochettino, as he has seen not one, not two, but three Chelsea players both make that run to the edge of the box. Cole Palmer's put it on a sixpence for him. It's just waiting for one of either Raheem Sterling, Jackson or Conor Gallagher just to dive in and get that. Chelsea would have the lead. Currently 52 minutes in, still level. Such huge moments of the season for both. We are heading towards the business end. Here with Isak. Isak's poor pass means Malagusto can break and give charge for a Chelsea counter-attack. Isak runs the channel. So does Jackson. Jackson to Palmer. Palmer again with a lovely fake shot. But he can't find the pass to find Malagusto. Now with Murphy. Murphy gets round his defender with ease, but Cucurella quick to press. Despite being already been beaten on a couple of occasions, he's fighting back, playing such a dangerous game with how high he presses. Chat, what do you think of Cucurella's performance so far? A couple people in the chat saying Chelsea, they can do it. They can still take over in this game, and perhaps had a bit of better form in this second half as a poor touch from Miguel Almiron gives the throw on to the Blues. Now Gusto. Gusto to Diassi. Diassi all the way to Petrovic, and he looks to switch to the left hand side with Cucurella. Cucurella's poor ball means Chelsea are back under pressure, but Moises Caicedo wins it back. I'm going to ask you, Chet, do you think a pivot of Moises Caicedo and Enzo Fernandez will be for the future? Questions on, do they really provide the balance? Do they suit each other's games? Do let us know in the comments. Matt Sharp telling us that he thinks Newcastle will win. Perhaps they might steal one here. They need to start getting more shots on target and testing Petrovic. Still only one so far. Palmer in towards Sterling. Sterling. Can he find Nicholas Jackson? He doesn't. He drives right down to the near post, and his shot goes wide. And it's been the real frustration for Raheem Sterling. His finishing got to improve. Got to hit the target there. This time he does pick a corner, but couldn't even go near the near post. It's going to be a goal kick to Newcastle. Raheem Sterling, who we've already just mentioned, is at the fewest touches in this game. Jacob Murphy, who did come off the bench about the 35th minute, has just one touch more. Match up saying Moises Caicedo will be a great player. Perhaps he will begin to show that form he had at Brighton, and arguably a good World Cup for him. That is the question. How does Moises Caicedo grow and become that star player for the Blues? Diassi. He goes towards the middle. Jackson just couldn't control it down, but wins a foul. Bruno Guimaraes just pressing the Chelsea forward. back to Gallagher. Gallagher's quick pass, but Jackson couldn't get it under control. A poor back pass from Miguel Almiron, who's been all over the place in this game. And he gives it to Sterling. Sterling couldn't get the counter-attack, couldn't light the spark for the Blues. So it's out wide to Gusto. Gusto, just to Gallagher on the edge of the D. He finds Palmer. Palmer, will he look to strike? He does a quick couple fakes, really twisting Bruno Guimaraes. Now with Casado. Casado out wide to Gallagher on the right hand side. His ball whipped in. Couldn't find the mark. Palmer, who picks it up, just gives the ball straight to Bruno Guimaraes. And he just couldn't get under the pressure of 4 Chelsea players. Gusto beats 1, beats 2, beats 3. He crosses it in, and it's cleared away by Fabian Schär. Diassi. Diassi into Palmer. Palmer looking to play that chip through ball, but he doesn't get it on. Now Casado, Chelsea really beginning to grow in this second half, not allowing Newcastle to escape that pressure. Palmer into Gallagher. Gallagher looks to strike. But the Newcastle defence has forced the pass. Now out wide to Gusto. His cross whipped in. And having to be cleared away by Sven Botman due to the pressure from none other than Conor Gallagher, who I've mentioned already is just everywhere. Just so I read some of the comments in the chat. Cole Palmer goes for the strike and he puts Chelsea ahead. A beautiful rocket into the bottom right, and this time it will be his goal. And it's just the power he gets on it. And of course he does that ice cold celebration, his trademark for the Blues. And just as a couple of you have mentioned, Mashup in particular, none other than Cole Palmer puts the Blues ahead. Some of you have said he's a bargain. £50 million is a lot of money. And he looks to be worth every penny. From the side, from the West London side. And it's a brilliant strike. It's a throw-on, it's simple. Moises Caicedo to Enzo Fernandez. Spots Cole Palmer in the pocket. And he just aces it into the bottom right corner. You couldn't hit it more sweeter. And you couldn't hit it with more accuracy than what Cole Palmer's just done there. Some of you are wondering why Cole Palmer was let go. Perhaps it's for that pure profit recommendation that Chelsea are so known for. Perhaps they thought a player like Doku would like the spot with more experience. But Newcastle quick to get an attack going with Isak. Cleared away. Enzo Fernandez just to the nearest corner flag. Make sure he hits it away from danger. And it's a flick on from Jackson. See Sterling go through on goal. Raheem Sterling. Can he put it in? Think it 3. He goes in at the keeper. He drops his man. And it's blocked off the line. Such great defending from Dan Bone, and they're composed as Fabian Schär just passes it to Tino Livramento. Livramento now fouled, and how did Chelsea not make that 3? Raheem Sterling. He goes through on goal. Has the option of Cole Palmer on the right hand side. When he finally gets it under control after 3-4 touches, then pauses, freezes, goes more towards the middle, giving plenty of time for 2 Newcastle players to get on the goal line, and he hits it straight down the middle. Raheem Sterling has to do so much better than that. Now Newcastle just edge the D here, finds Isak. Isak strikes, looking for that top right corner, but it just doesn't fall for him. Just going for the chat there, some of you believe that Man City had a lot better strikers. The player they did used to have, Raheem Sterling, should have done so much better with the chance he had. We're also seeing here, just as a goal kick is going to be taken from the Blues, Willock is a championship player at best. It was a very harsh thing to say. He's shown great form at points, perhaps with injuries, has really been a dampener. He's not had the best game today. Perhaps he has looked like a championship player today. But he's still showing that quality, was Newcastle's best player during that COVID spell. And now Gallagher. Gallagher into the forward ball, into none other than the goal scorer, Nicholas Jackson, and he wins a free kick for the side. And I agree with the comment, Sterling did take too many touches, never got the ball under control, and then when he did, he then opted to go back towards the inside, not using that weaker foot. I'm not showing that killer instinct that is needed if Chelsea are going to kill off this game here. Gusto's just going to let Palmer drive up and offer the overlapping run. Palmer's going to take it, but the ball is just too inside, and it's very easy for Dan Burn to defend there. Matchup saying he hasn't lived up to the hype since. Yeah, he did offer a huge price tag. Obviously, he's not been the first choice in the last couple of years. Joel Linton moving into central midfield has absolutely made sure he is going to lock that place down. It's a goal kick or a free kick in the penalty area for Newcastle. Chelsea no options around. Again, they keep it short. They've really struggled to break in Chelsea's midfield. Casado and Enzo, they've really worked hard with Gallagher as well coming in. Jackson pressing Dubravka. Dubravka whacks it up and high. Kukurea wins the header. Now Botman just making sure to get it up and away. Chelsea, he'll have a throw on, just couldn't keep it in. Again, going through the chat here. Man City aren't as strong without Gundogan and Mahrez. They definitely lost their experience. Gundogan, he scored a lot of vital goals for Man City in big games. Arguably got the Premier League winning goal, or the Premier League winning most important goal of his career 2 years ago in a title race like we're seeing this season. Are we going to see a three-team title race? Hasn't happened for 10 years. And City were the winner. Obviously that famous Gerrard slip versus Chelsea. Such an iconic moment in Premier League history. That was a great storyline. And Newcastle, with Fabian Schär and Sven Botman in the back, are just going to have to go long because they can't seem to break into the midfield. But Miguel Almiron does well, holding off Malo Gusto's pressure, and he wins the side of throw-on. Malo Gusto, what a revelation he has been. Almost brought us the backup to Reece James, but due to injuries, he's playing every week. He's growing in confidence every week, showing both technical class and defensive awareness. Dan Burn's throw into Alexander Isak. Isak towards Dan Burn. Dan Burn looks to return to the Swiss, but blocked by Palmer. Palmer already with arguably a goal and an assist. Dubious if you do call that an assist. It was a strike. It was then flicked in by Nicholas Jackson, but I'm sure he'll take that. And Gareth Southgate watches on. What do you guys think of him? And how will England do in the Euros? Probably having their best chance since 2008. This is a very long time, going back before even I was born, since you could argue England are the second best team ahead of this tournament, just behind France, many would imagine. But Dubravka just holding onto the ball on the penalty spot, and England could really use some of the talent we've seen here today. Fabian Schär in towards Tino Livramento. Livramento has had a really good game so far. Can he get another Newcastle attack going in place of Kieran Trippier? A ball's whipped in. Can't find Willock on the edge. Kukurea now under the pressure from Longstaff. Cleared away. Malo Gusto. Gusto in towards Diassi. Diassi smashed away by Petrovic. who wasn't going to have any sort of pressure be applied to him. Bruno Guimaraes whips it to the right hand side, but it's with too much power and it goes way over the head of Jacob Murphy, and Chelsea will have to throw on the far side, just a couple yards from the halfway line. And Eddie Howe talking to his assistant, what kind of substitution do you think Newcastle will make? And if you're wondering who has the head-to-head record advantage between Chelsea and Newcastle, if you said Chelsea, you'd be more than correct. Chelsea with 79 wins. If they'll win today, it'd be 80 wins against Newcastle head-to-head. Newcastle with 56 wins and 40 draws. That's 66 minutes in. Newcastle have a free kick. Foul won by Isak, who's had a great game so far. When he's been involved, he has looked special, but just needs to get more service. Murphy already whipped in a few good balls in so far. Him and Almiron. Will Almiron do what he's done?
Give me your jump under the ball, making it up a buttercup double dash. Give me your jump under the ball, making it up a buttercup double dash. Keep it spark a little lock, yeah, making it up a buttercup double dash. Give me your jump under the ball, double dash. Double dash, double dash.
Just can't twist his body to get the ball to go directly towards the goal, and instead a goal kick. But Dan Burn is pulled up limping. Not sure as to what injury. Perhaps the fall from when he won it. It's not easy for the defender. Play with such physicality like he does, you're always going to risk knocks in the game. But this will give Eddie Howe a chance to talk to his group, potentially reassess their approach, and they are going to make some changes. So we can see already on the sideline, two players. Elliot Anderson, the Scottish midfielder, he's already got his kit stripped, ready to come on. And if Dan Burn is going to come off, you are going to assume for another left back, and you'd imagine either Matt Targett or Matt Ritchie, either one of the two Matthews, will perhaps take his place. But instead, it's going to be none other than another Swedish defender, or Swedish player for the Magpies. It's Emil Kraft. He is going to be the one to replace Dan Burn. And Miguel Almiron, he's also been very poor today, barely been able to get involved. He's had many struggles so far, and his Newcastle tenure, many highlights. When you look at the start of last season, the way he came alive, scoring goal after goal at the start. But Chelsea, they're also going to make a change, just not yet. Michaela Mudryk looks to be warming up. Who will he come for, chat? Do let us know in the comments. Gusto into Caicedo. Caicedo flicks it over the defender. Now with Jackson. Jackson plays it forward to Sterling, but Sterling doesn't track the ball. And Livramento will happily pick up the pieces. We've just got a player down here. Looks to be Sven Botman, the former Lille defender. And if you're talking about players that have a great impact on their clubs, look no further than Sven Botman. Won a Liga title with Lille, famously pipping the Paris Saint-Germain side, led by Kylian Mbappe, Neymar, Mauro Icardi. And it is going to be Raheem Sterling to come off in place of the Ukrainian winger. Mudryk sparked such reaction from fans. Is he good enough? Is he the talent? Is he a project player? Offers such great pace. People expect more for a price tag that Chelsea paid. So much now we look at statistics to judge players. He doesn't have too many in that department for the Blues. A poor cross from Jacob Murphy, very easily caught by Petrovic. Petrovic, who has played some of his career in the MLS, one of the few players to have quite a smooth transition, unlike Miguel Almiron, who took a couple of years when he came from Atlanta United. And the referee is telling the Petrovic to wait as he looks to bring out a yellow card. Not so sure yet as to who. Or it's going to be for Petrovic, the Serbian goalkeeper. Apparently for time wasting. Seems quite harsh from the referee there. It was more the fact that you can't play when the ball is moving. Mudryk now. Mudryk links up with Jackson very well with the 1-2. Now returns it to the Senegalese forward. He finds Palmer. Gusto offers the overlapping run. Palmer offers not too easy on the edge of the box. Tackled by Murphy. Murphy again plays the forward ball. Longstaff returns it to Livramento. Livramento playing almost as a left back now. Easily gets round Enzo. And Casado does well to recover. Chelsea just swarming with numbers. They're a pack of wolves just hunting their prey. The ref feels Casado won the ball back unfairly. Books the former Brighton midfielder. Seems incredibly harsh. Bear in mind Enzo's challenge, where he looks more for a direct takeout. But Livramento have been very impressive, and probably a player Chelsea shouldn't have let go of all them years ago. Just 2 seasons ago, he was offered away. Then played at Southampton. Then now for the Magpies, Jacob Murphy on another set piece. He's had so many good deliveries so far. This time goes short. Gets the return from Gamaresh. But Mudryk is there. So quick is Mudryk. Just to get out from the penalty spot and burst towards Murphy on the left. Murphy. The short option with Bruno Gamaresh. He hasn't raised an arm up so that no one knows if that is going to be a call for a back post cross or a near post. It is the near post, but easily cleared by Mudryk. Mudryk everywhere defensively as far. Whipped in again by Murphy. Caught by the Serbian keeper. Petrovic now goes long, trying to burst an attack, but it's well read brilliantly by Isak. Isak beats a defender. Beats Enzo Fernandez with absolute ease. Now Gallagher pressing him. He goes short, gets the return from Gamaresh, but intercepted. Not find Nicholas Jackson, who was slipping through. A quick switch of the play. But again, Newcastle just need to get a hold of it. They opt not to. Milcroft really struggled as far to get into the game. So 1-2 with Gamaresh. Bruno looking for that switch of the play, but he can't find that in cutting run. So now with Kraft. Whipped in by Longstaff towards the back post. Hit on by Murphy. But Newcastle just can't seem to get that final bit of quality. Enzo Fernandez hits it high, far and away. To what is quite a jovial reaction from the Geordie side. Newcastle with the throw into Longstaff. Longstaff goes all the way back. A quick 1-2. Finds Bruno. Bruno short ball. Whipped towards the far post. Can it be flicked on by Murphy? It's not. Hit down by Livramento and it's blocked. And Casado gets it away. Jackson now one-on-one against Sven Botman and pushes him away. And now showing such blistering pace on the left channel. Cole Palmer's there in the box. Now going one-on-one against his man. Mudryk nutmegs the defender. Can he make it three? Rounds the defender. He does! He does! It's 3-1 Chelsea. Michaela Mudryk rounds the keeper, rounds the defender, and slots it home. What a goal from him and what a moment to kickstart his Chelsea career. And all the Chelsea players are going over to him. What a lovely moment from Mudryk. Showing such quality here, such composure. And it all starts with Jackson on the left channel. Absolutely bullies Botman. Finds Gallagher, but Michaela Mudryk with the confidence nicks it off him. But he's not just Botman, but Fabian Schär as well. And Newcastle just don't know what to do with themselves. It's so easy. Kraft as well. It's an easy nutmeg from Mudryk, who then rounds the keeper. And I believe that to be Emil Kraft on the halfway line, just couldn't get to it in time. What a moment from Michaela Mudryk to make it 3-1 Chelsea. Chelsea's number 10, worn by some great players in their club's history. Such talented ballers, if you will. Well, you check the rooming. What a run by Michaela Mudryk. I do agree. Casado wins the ball back from the restart, but just couldn't get a hold of it. And the Chapley Chelsea are playing good. Some of you have forecasted the 3-1. Now Murphy on the right hand side against Goalscorer. Chip ball in. And Petrovic gets it into his grasp. And he holds on to the ball. Chelsea, can they put this game to bed? Would be such a huge win for them. Goalscorer. Goalscorer to Gallagher. Gallagher flicks it to Michaela Mudryk. Mudryk now, it's 4 against 3 for Chelsea. Mudryk on the left hand side. Can he get into the box? He does. Looks to play the short ball, but no forward runs from Chelsea as he was just holding on, waiting for someone to sprint on. But Newcastle under such pressure from Jackson, who wins it back with ease. Newcastle so poor, just walking around. And a nutmeg from Palmer, but he just couldn't get the ball back after that nutmeg. And Dubravka was able to get a hold of it. Now, Jacob Murphy into Bruno Guimaraes, who's frustrated by the lack of options going forward. Newcastle just a walking pace. I'm sure that is very frustrating for Eddie Howe. And walking just gives it up. And Cole Palmer intercepts. It's gone from bad to worse for the Magpies. Just look all over the place. The complete opposite from what we saw against what we saw in the Midlands against Wolves. And that 3-0 win. Gusto into Diassi. Diassi into Moises Casado. Gusto returns to Diassi. Malo Gusto, who just loves receiving the ball. Takes it on either foot. He's been a real difference maker so far as he takes the quick throw on. Now with Jackson. Casado now. Gets another nutmeg. Chelsea, it looks like they're going nutmeg crazy in this game. Some of you in the chat saying the best you've seen Chelsea play in a while. They have offered a good few performances. They've been few and far between. Newcastle are going to make a change. Appears to be Miley coming on. And to be replaced by Joe Willock. And Bruno Guimaraes. I mentioned he was playing at walking pace. And he has also been taken off. Very frustrating for the Brazilian midfielder. Eddie Howe is going for two youngsters, Joe White and Miley, to really inject, hopefully, some pace into the game. And if you are looking at Miley, well, who would blame you? What an important game it is for him. Only recently broken into the Newcastle side. He will really want to make an impact. Potentially to lock down a place. Newcastle struggling for central midfielders with all the injuries they've had. He will really be hoping he can lock down a place. Newcastle now. Whipped him. Cleared away by Trevor Chalobah. Miley on the ball now. Born in May 2006. Still so incredibly young, just 17. Grew up not too far from Tyneside. Which is just in Durham. Now Cole Palmer. Cole Palmer on the counter attack. Goes out wide to Mudryk. Mudryk lets the ball go off to Gallagher. Gallagher returns to the Englishman. Fernandez to Cucurella. Now Gallagher twisting in and out, trying to unsettle that Newcastle midfield. But he then looks to do the back pass. Diassi charged into the middle of the halfway line. Mudryk seems to have switched positions with Conor Gallagher, going into a bit more of a, you'd argue, a central midfield role for Chelsea. Not something you'd imagine would get too much of his pace on display as he goes looking to try and defend Longstaff. Longstaff's ball to Isak, intercepted by Trevor Chalobah. Diassi into Enzo Fernandez, and Gusto will send it long. Brought down by Dubravka at the chest. Newcastle with the ball, just about to pass the halfway line. They've been really poor as far. Having to go to youngsters now to try and bring the game back. Murphy on the right hand side, crosses it in, it's low. And Isak should have done better. Just letting the ball bounce around the box. And a player with his speed and his size, you'd expect him to get on the end of that. Casado though gets Chelsea out of their penalty area, and now down to the left hand side. We're giving the ball with Conor Gallagher with plenty of space to charge. Cole Palmer and Jackson in the middle. Gallagher goes to his right foot, tackled and defended well, just making sure there was absolutely no path from the Newcastle defender, just pushing him off with absolute ease. Elliot Anderson, but Chelsea win it back on the edge of the D. And Jackson tries to go for the nutmeg. Chelsea, they've got too excited since they've got a couple. And that could punish them as Isak gets burnt into life on the right hand side. But he just couldn't get onto the ball. Now Enzo Fernandez, under pressure from two Newcastle players. Newcastle beginning to raise that level that they had in the first half, where they do look absolutely exhausted. But with 5 substitutions, do you think you can be exhausted for a side? You can essentially swap out your whole midfield and attack. Gusto looks for a 1-2 with Mudryk. Mudryk fails to return it. Now Krah driving on his craft. Anderson into Miley. Miley goes out wide with Murphy. Murphy opting in the 1-2. Instead his ball is whipped in, but it's low again, and this time defended. Mark Cucurella does very well in getting back for a player that's been brought into question a lot in the last 2 seasons. And it looks like Cucurella is hurt, and you don't want to see that. He's played a good game as far, and he's really holding on to his calf. And Chelsea, they're going to make a change. It's that Italian central midfielder I mentioned earlier. And he's going to come off for the goal scorer, Cole Palmer. And what a performance from Cole Palmer. What do you make of him, chat? Do let us know. Where do you rate him? Do you think he's the man of the match today? And some of you have felt he's shining alongside Jackson and Mudryk, says Koa. And just reading the message there, I jinxed Mudryk. Said he'd come on score and he did. But a Newcastle ball whipped in. And Anderson just couldn't get his head on it. But Moises Caicedo goes back. Cucurella gets it up. Cucurella looks really uncomfortable. And Trevor Chalobah blocks the cross in. Petrovic with plenty of time to hold on to it. Gusto out wide towards the Italian midfielder. What can he show for the Blues? Trevor Chalobah to Marc Cucurella. Cucurella to Caicedo. Caicedo in towards the midfield. Chelsea, they're looking to play out from the back now. Newcastle beginning to play man to man. Gusto is then forced to go all the way back to his Serbian goalkeeper, who goes long. Caicedo wins the flick on. And a brilliant challenge from the Italian. And now Mudryk bursting with his pace. Beats one, beats two. And can he get a ball in for Mudryk? He does! But it's not to be, it's too close to the keeper. Now Newcastle going on along to the attack. Mudryk, who fell right into the barrier. You've got to hope he's okay. But it's with Anderson. Anderson takes a long touch too many. And Gusto sliding in wins the ball back. But Anderson returns the chase. And this time offers up a free kick. And clipping the Frenchman just on the back of the heels. Mikhailo Mudryk shown absolute flashes of life since coming on. And Steve Howard, great, another injury. What is our luck? Not too many of the injuries though have come in the games. It seems to be a more common in training. They're picking up knots. Perhaps that's something to look at for Chelsea with their technical staff. Perhaps having to replace one of the club doctors or physio. Gusto now. Into the midfield he goes. He's got Mudryk and the youngster Shaw. When you say youngster, you're on about a player in their teens, not even in their early 20s. That's how young this Chelsea team is. The youngest in the Premier League by some margin. Cucurella into Trevor Chalobah. It's a dangerous ball through the middle. But now onto the right of the penalty spot with Diassi. Diassi looks for the short 1-2. Mudryk picking up plenty of the ball in the midfield. He's now dropped into more that number 10 position. See, everyone saw him more as a left winger, but that seems to be where Gallagher is. And now a lovely flick from Jackson, but just needed to put more power on it as he tried to return towards the Chelsea captain. But he tries to win his side the ball back and press his bottom as high as he can. But he can't seem to get the ball. Now Livramento bursting on the left-hand side. It does appear Cucurella has made the decision he is going to play on. Seems to be not limping as he was before, was hopping around to begin with. But Gallagher, can he defend the Newcastle charge with Miley? Now out wide in Murphy. The overlapping run opts not to use it and blocked by Cucurella. Cucurella to the applause of Chelsea fans. Again, many have questioned him and wanted to see perhaps him go in January. It's linked to Manchester United. Proved not to be with Chilwell not remaining fit. Many fans want to see if Ian Maatsen get his chance. He's gone to Borussia Dortmund on loan. Appeared to be an absolute revelation for the West German side. And what a strike! Oh my word, what a hit! Jacob Murphy, out of nowhere, he picks up the ball on the edge of the box, takes a touch, runs it forward, and rams it into the top right corner. 89 minutes in. And that might be a contender for goal of the season in terms of pure class. Cucurella gambles on going near him, gets absolutely rolled, and Murphy goes to the near post and hits it as hard as he can into the top right corner. Petrovic, no chance. It's 3-2. The game is absolutely on. Murphy holding his head. I think that might have even shocked him. Nicholas Jackson, after his goal, he is coming off Carney Chukwuemeka, that Aston Villa Academy grad. Potentially one for the England team's future. And just reading the comment there, yeah, another worldie against us. That does appear to be. Both Newcastle's goals have been absolutely phenomenal. That's the standard, and Gallagher tries to level it up with a 40-yard curler into the top left. But Dubravka does well. Gallagher now pressing to the goalscorer Murphy, and Cucurella just chasing the goalscorer down. Murphy's attracting lots of attention, and Chalaba slides in. Takes the Englishman down. It's going to be a throw on to Newcastle. Newcastle could equalise here. Chelsea are not careful. Chelsea opting not to bring on Thiago Silva. Probably one of the best defensive readers of the game. As we enter the crunch time here, just 4 minutes left. Cleared away by Fernandez. Fernandez from Gallagher. And now Chukwuemeka bursting on the left. Can't seem to pick an option. And you'll find that incredibly frustrating. Chelsea not going with a traditional striker. We do have forward David Washington, who have opted not to use again. I mentioned him earlier. Seems to be questionable why he was brought in, barely been played. A real unknown in the Chelsea team. Now Newcastle on the halfway line here, with Fabian Schär. Out wide to Livramento. Livramento goes for a 1-2 with Miley. Miley into Joe White, but Joe White can't keep the ball alive. Newcastle going to take the throw on quickly. Newcastle really needs to get the ball in the box. They're just playing it around the back. And again, as we've seen all game, they can only get going out wide. Chelsea, they should know that and start to double up, and they do here with Gallagher and Cucurella. But Kraft gets the rebound. And a lovely ricochet that falls to Joe White. The cross in, looking for Isak. But appears not to be. Isak had to go short. Newcastle didn't get enough numbers in the box. Petrovic easily holding it down. Just 3 minutes left. Eddie Howe scratching his head in frustration. How can they have been so poor for such a long time in the second half? Still, you perhaps fancy them getting the equaliser. It's a cheeky little nutmeg from Murphy, who skips it through Cucurella. He's had the absolute beating of him in the last 25 minutes. Mr. Pochettino, quiet, calming. What will he be thinking? If he gives up for a game like this, will that put him under some pressure? Seems to be the board does have confidence in him. They don't look to be moving him on. And people there are frustrated for Newcastle, booing the goalkeeper. That just seem to be the banter in English football. Free kick for Newcastle on the left-hand side. Again, they go back instead of setting the team up for a ball to be whipped in. The inexperience of the side. It's a poor touch, and Gallagher can resuscitate a Chelsea attack. Conor Gallagher on the left. Chukwuemeka doesn't offer himself. He's been very uncomfortable playing up front. Gallagher and Fernandez just whipping the ball around here. Gusto on the right. He goes to Diassi. that could see it go into the book. And it's a stupid foul from the midfielder. Mudryk's got no real other option but the 1-2. Newcastle with 3 defenders back. You think either one of them would get onto it. And to be mistaken, it's Joe White that picks up the yellow. Only been on for a couple minutes. We'll need to play this game a bit more safely. Just 30 seconds left to go. Can Chelsea get that win they so desire? They've gone short from the free kick. Gallagher fakes for a long pass, but instead goes on the right, on the touchline with Enzo Fernandez. And just a little clip on from the byline. And he is furious about how the ball has not been given as a Chelsea throw-on, claiming it was hit off by Lewis Miley. Pochettino Livramento with a throw. Whacked away by Dan Burn. Oh, my apologies, Sven Botman. But it falls to Chukwuemeka. And he just picked up the ball on the edge of the box, but easily intercepted by Fabian Schär. Newcastle just smashing it up and high, just trying to give something to chase. But Trevor Jalaba brings it down and sends it straight into the West End. And he's screaming for full time. And everyone at Chelsea is standing up, whistling at the referee, trying to get the game to end. They know what it means for them. Potentially restoring that European hunt. Can they get either into the Conference League or the Europa League? What do you think, chat? And that is it. It's full time. Chelsea win 3-2. Goal from Jackson to put the Blues ahead was restored, level by an absolute wonder goal from Isak. And then Chelsea, they were quick and on fire in the second half. Cole Palmer with an absolute beautiful strike, and such composure from Mudryk made it 3-1. And then Jacob Murphy with, I'd argue, the goal of the game. Absolutely rolling his defender, making it 3-2, but it wasn't to be for Newcastle. They couldn't fight for long enough. Very sloppy in that second half. Thank you, chat, for watching along. That is it. Finishes 3-2 for Chelsea.
Alright, people. Thank you. Thank you so much, Cam Wilson. Thank you for the commentary here on Some ASK Football. It's always good to have you on the commentary like that. Guys, please make sure you hit the like button before you're leaving. Yeah, we have to do a new commentary stream for this one tonight, but then tomorrow, guys, it's going to be Champions League, and we're going to be back with the radio commentaries like that. Yep, guys, so that is it here. Some ASK Football. Thanks for tuning in, and we're going to see you on the next one, guys. So full-time results coming in here. It is Chelsea 3 and Newcastle United 2.